Then using add point split line, I am going to square off a little 1/2 inch marking from this line over here, over from this corner. So when I create my sleeve cap shape, a little portion at the top stays flat. So 1/2 inch is good there. Then I'll grab internal polygon and draw a line straight across here. Using edit pattern, I'm going to just cut that off and then delete this pattern piece. Now I'm going to grab add point split line and evenly divide this segment into 3 segments. Hover right click and choose uniform split to evenly divide this one segment into 3 segments. Hit OK to complete that. Then I'm going to use edit pattern and create a perpendicular line off of this point downward and off of this point upward. Here I can right click and choose add perpendicular internal line local, change the length to 1/2 inch and hit OK. Now I'm going to do the same thing at this point, add perpendicular line local, 1/2 inch finished length, but select both. So I generate an internal line above that area as well, and then hit OK. Now I'm going to get internal polygon / line and basically connect the dots. I'll start at this top area, click on the top of this internal line that's poking out, dip down to this internal line poking in, and then finish at the corner by double clicking or clicking once and then hitting enter. Now that that line exists, I can grab the edit pattern tool, hold shift, select all of these segments, right click, and then choose replace as pattern outline. That's going to swap out what's currently the pattern outline with that internal line I just drew, and then I can continue with my shape. Then I'm going to use the edit curve point tool to go round out all of these areas. This area in the middle doesn't really have to get reshaped at all. And now I'm going to remove all of these markings. First, I'm going to select my transform pattern tool, right click, and delete the reference line. Then I'm going to lock all my pattern outlines so I can get the trace tool and select this area and then hit delete for all those parts. Then unlock all the pattern outlines. So before I start unfolding this or doing more, I'm going to remeasure my armhole circumference. So this is 19.6. So if I measure this top segment, I'm at 9.6. That's very, very close for me. I am going to not adjust this more. If you need to keep on adjusting, you can do a combination of widening the bicep and increasing the cap height in different ways, trying to keep the same relative shape, but expanding the size of it a little bit to hit your target measurement. I'm really close, so I'm going to do that after I unfold it because I'm going to do a little bit of adjustment for my back sleeve cap area. Before I do that, I'm going to reduce my sleeve opening so I can grab this area, right click, and reduce this 2 inches. And I'm going to now take this bicep marking and just move it down 1 inch and hit OK. I'm going to clip this. And now I'm going to unfold my shape. You simply right click on this segment that feels like the center, choose unfold. You don't want the unfold with symmetry version, just regular unfold. And then remeasure my cap height. So now I have 19.315. I want this to measure in total 19.642. So I'm 0.3 away from this roughly. The next thing I'm going to do is to make an adjustment to the back sleeve area. So this is a little bit wider and the scoop back here feels a little bit deeper. I like to do this with the internal polygon / line. I can draw my shape beforehand and then make the final edit in one action. So I'm going to start at this point and really slowly and gradually add a little bit of width to the top rounded area of my sleeve cap. I'm going to end this at this point, and then I'm going to select these segments and replace the pattern outline. Now I'm going to remeasure this. I have 19.416, so now I'm 0.4 away from the measurement that I need. I'm going to try and achieve that by just widening my bicep a tiny little bit. I'm going to hold the D key down as I move this, and then I can hold Shift or Control, right click, and I'm just going to add 0.125. Then I'm going to go over here and also add 1/8 of an inch, 0.125. And now I'm going to remeasure my sleeve cap and see where I am. 9.66, so now I'm 0.2 away. I'm going to raise my sleeve cap again a super tiny bit. .642. That's really good. It's good that the sleeve has a tiny bit of ease. This is a sloper, so it's okay if it doesn't have too much. But now all of those leftover marking, that's a reference line. I am going to right click on my pattern piece and choose delete reference line. Great. Now I'm going to duplicate this sleeve. So I have two sleeves. Using transform pattern, right click on your sleeve and choose symmetric pattern with sewing. Place that down on the opposite side. Okay, I can see both my sleeves here. I am still on the tape measure tool, so I'm going to go back to selection. And I can turn the measurements off at this point. Okay, before I sew this in, I want some sleeve notches so I know what's the front and what's the back. I'm going to place a notch that actually matches this distance. So here's 3.654. So I'm going to select these two segments, and then when I use the notch tool, it will disregard and be able to bypass this point. And I can type in the same measurement, 3.654. Oh, I need that in the blue line, 3.654. Okay, so that's going right here, this blue section. Okay. I can convert this point to curve point. It's going to be fine. Then I'll get my notch tool and hover, right click, and I'm going to choose 3 inches as well. 3-inch marking there. I'm going to select these two segments, get the notch tool, right click, put a 3-inch marking there. Then I'm going to put another 3.5-inch marking, so I have 2 notches on the back. So here, and then here as well. If I type in 3.5, I'll have a 1/2-inch marking away there. All right, now I can arrange this and sew this on. I will turn my arrangement points on, move around so I can select this sleeve, place this down on my arm arrangement point. I can turn my arrangement points off. And then this is how I'm going to sew the sleeve together. Using the free sewing tool, I'm going to follow first my front and back notch. So attach this front lower part, then I'll get the back part to the second notch, back part to the second notch. Then I'm going to select the entire sleeve cap that's left. Hold Shift